first got started in 1986. I worked for Northrop Corporation, which was how it was known at the time, about 20 miles from here in Norwood, Massachusetts. And of course, the Defense Industry Initiative took place in the spring of 1986. And so I was working actually in the area of human resources, running a kind of a communication operation, which included, internal, external communications and the preparation of proposals, coordinating artists and writers and all of that for the government. And so it came up that we had to start ethics programs because of the Defense Industry Initiative, and they looked around, and I guess they realized that I had degrees in philosophy and theology, and so, well, why don't you get involved in it? So that's how I got involved first. In my view, ethics program, and actually because of the good work and advocacy of the late Mike Hoffman, ethics programs have more to do with employee and management development than they have with catching the crooks. Now, I don't diss lawyers. I worked with some wonderful lawyers and saw very much how important they were in this whole process. But if you design your ethics program simply to cover the law, then you're missing an incredible opportunity to capitalize on the good values that people bring to work, that they have from the Boy Scouts, from their church, from their school, from the PTO, and encourage them to live according to those good values, and thereby, it seems to me, really protect the enterprise and build a culture in the enterprise in such a way that you don't have to be scurrying all that. That people are going to say, so that fifth grade person says, well, I read the code, and I can't get an answer to my question. But I got to ask someone, this doesn't feel right. This isn't the way we do things around here. How do you create that? That's the real challenge, seems to me. For the most part, it was very interesting because business ethics did not have the impact in business that other academic disciplines did. That the relationship between business ethics and those people who studied business ethics in academia there wasn't that relationship. And in fact, there were some people in academia and other places who were somewhat cynical about the fact that you could even do business ethics. The oxymoron thing. That always puzzled me to some extent because, from my background, I know that there isn't any area of human endeavor that's immune from ethical scrutiny. And here's an area of human endeavor that consumes 1/3 of the time of most people. So I was always conscious and somewhat involved with, I taught courses in business ethics at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. I made presentations in a lot of places. I made a presentation once in San Diego at I think we met there probably, Pat, at the Society for Business Ethics. And that, and regional things in California, that kind of thing. So you can't do business ethics and say that profit is bad. You can't run a business without profit. So if profit is bad, forget it, okay? But it's the place of profit that's important. I used to use the image of there's 2 outs in the 9th inning, and you get up, you're the last batter, you're worried you could be the GOAT or the hero. And so if you get up thinking, I'm going to be the GOAT, I got to get this, I got to do this, I got to get this profit, I got to do this, got to win this thing, etc., the odds are higher that you won't get the hit. But if you get up and calmly say, well, I got to do this right, I got to do that right, I got to treat my employees well, I got to work and have a good relationship with my partners, I got to make a decent product, I got to be there for my customers when they need me. I got to get my stance right, I got to hold the bat correctly, I got to watch the ball as it comes in. The odds that you're going to hit a home run are much better. And so it's the context in which you place profit, it seems to me, that's really important. And there's always the temptation to just drive for it, not to say that, not to have kind of the longer view, if you will, in terms of the pursuit of profit. So, one of the interesting things to do in an organization is, if you're a large organization like we were, like for instance, during the time that I was at Northrop Grumman, we had a low of 45,000 employees and a high of 125,000. And so one of the interesting things to do in terms of finding ways to get the message out is to find out when the auditors are meeting and get on the agenda. When all the marketing people from the company are meeting, get on the agenda, etc. Go to the annual meeting and lobby the members of the board of directors during coffee, before and after. Talk to them, greet them, tell them, what you're doing, or that kind of thing. So those are all kind of important things. With respect to the international thing, first of all, in Northern Europe especially, it's Northern and Central Europe, hotlines are out because they're still living with, the drop a dime of the Soviets and the Nazis. So calling up on someone, it's just not something you do. Privacy laws are stricter. So to some extent, they protect the employee better than privacy laws here. The impact of unions, for example, in European business governance is stronger. And that can be an obstacle in terms of putting in place the elements of a program that you need. So we did an annual conference in Europe once and our units were mainly in Europe, in Germany and Italy. We did conferences in Switzerland and Italy after I left, I think, which is too bad because I studied in Italy for 4 years and would have loved to have gone back on their nickel. But so there are complications, and not in terms of the fact that those people are less ethically sensitive or anything than we are, but the structures of the culture are very different than some of the structures that we built on, and that makes it, you have to be careful and sensitive to those things in their experience.